My name is Elena, I'm 37, and that night I discovered my parents had told my brother that Christmas. And life really was better without me. If you've ever faced something like this, comment where you're reading from. The smell of pine needles still clung to my coat. I just dragged a cheap tree up the stairs to my apartment, string lights buzzing faintly as I tested them on the floor. My phone lit up with a notification, family group chat. I tapped it absently, half expecting some last-minute holiday logistics. Instead, the words sat there like broken glass. Don't invite her. It's easier without her. She makes everything tense. It wasn't meant for me. My mother had sent it, but the bubble revealed I was still in the group. She must have meant to write privately to my brother. I froze. The radiator clanked, the room too warm suddenly. I set down the strand of lights, plastic bulbs cool in my palm, but my ears rang hot. I didn't answer. Not then. My thumb hovered, my chest tightened, but I only locked the screen. The blinking lights kept pulsing blue, red, green on the floorboards like nothing had changed. I didn't know yet that in 12 days, I would be holding a folder in my lawyer's office, proof stacked neatly in tabs, and that my family's silence would be louder than any words. I was in my kitchen the next morning when the first collision happened. The counter was cluttered with grocery bags, clementines, rye bread, 2 bottles of cheap Prosecco I'd planned to bring over to my parents' house for New Year's Eve. The kettle hissed, steam fogging the small window above the sink. My phone buzzed again. This time it was from my brother, 8:47 a.m. Sharp. Don't make this bigger than it is. Mom just meant it'll be less stressful if you skip this year. Everyone's tired. Just stay home. I stared at the text, the tea bag string dangling over the rim of my mug. Less stressful. Like my presence was a malfunctioning wire, sparking in their otherwise perfect living room. I called him. He answered on speaker, his voice casual, too casual. Why are you acting hurt? You know how Dad gets. You push him. You always have. I swallowed. So I should disappear to keep him comfortable? Silence. Then, I'm just saying maybe it's better this way. No drama. The words clicked into place one after another, until the sentence was complete in my head. Better without you. I set the mug down carefully, ceramic clink against the counter. My brother was waiting for my agreement, my usual surrender. Instead I said quietly, I won't do this anymore. Then I ended the call. The tea went cold. The groceries sat untouched. My hand shook, but not from sadness. It was something else. Something sharper, almost clean. How did it come to this? A 37-year-old woman standing in her kitchen, debating whether she even belonged at her parents' table? I can trace the pattern like threads in a rug. When I was 12, my father gave my brother a used mountain bike for Christmas. A blue Trek, still shiny enough to look new. I unwrapped a hairbrush and a journal with Princess stamped on the cover in glitter. My mother laughed when I looked puzzled. Well, you like to write, don't you? When I was 17, I worked every Saturday at the bakery on Oak Street. Saved $600 in cash in a shoebox under my bed. 1 week before prom, the box was empty. My mother said she'd borrowed it for a bill. At prom, I wore a thrift store dress, and my brother drove up in a tux rented for him by the same parents who had borrowed from me. Later, at 24, I co-signed a small loan so my father could repair the roof on the family house. 1,200 square feet of peeling shingles and drafty windows. The roof never got fixed, but I was still on the hook. Payments rolled through my account every month while my brother bought a newer car. No one thanked me. I kept telling myself it was fine. That's what family did. Patched holes, made sacrifices, filled in where others faltered. And maybe that's true if the effort goes both ways. But with us it never did. The truth is, what's at stake isn't just a holiday dinner. It's the family home. An old 3-bedroom house on 14th Street I've quietly been paying into for over a decade. My name isn't on the deed, but my bank transfers tell a different story. $450 here, $650 there, month after month. I helped them qualify for refinancing when my father's credit collapsed after his layoff. And now, days before Christmas, they tell each other it's better without me. This isn't just neglect. It's erasure. And this year, something in me refuses to vanish quietly. It arrived the way these things always do, by accident. 3 nights later I was sorting laundry on my couch, the television murmuring low in the background, when my phone buzzed. A message from my brother's girlfriend, mistakenly forwarded. A screenshot. The top of the image showed the family chat thread. My mother's words were plain, black against white. Don't tell her. It's easier if she thinks we can't afford gifts. She'll keep covering the mortgage anyway. 2 lines below, my brother's reply. Yeah, she's too desperate to belong. Might as well let her keep paying. I stared until the letters blurred. The laundry slid from my lap onto the rug. I scrolled up and down the screenshot, as if more context would change the meaning. But no, there it was. Not just rejection. Calculation. I took another step, opened my bank app. There it was, in cold digits. $625 withdrawn automatically on December 1st, 14th Street Mortgage Company. The same pattern for months, years. My breath came shallow. I printed both. The screenshot, the bank statement. Paper warm from the printer. Edges sharp under my fingertips. Physical proof. No way to gaslight this away. I sat at the table, the lamp overhead buzzing faintly, papers spread before me like a case file. My case. And in that moment something clicked, soft but final. I make a choice. Proof in hand is one thing. But when you've lived years of second-guessing yourself, you need someone else to confirm you're not inventing the storm. The next morning, December 20th, I booked an appointment with a lawyer whose office sat above a nail salon downtown. The place smelled faintly of acetone and winter coats damp with melted snow. The receptionist slid me a clipboard. My pen scratched across the forms while my heart hammered louder than it should. Inside, the lawyer, a woman maybe mid-50s, silver streak in her bun, read quietly through the documents I'd brought. She didn't look at me right away, just tapped the screenshot with one manicured nail. This was sent to you directly? Yes. Accidentally. But yes. And the transfers, these are from your account? Every month. For over 10 years. She finally met my eyes. You're not on the deed? No. Then legally, you've been subsidizing a property you don't own. Her words landed like gravel in my chest. I nodded, though the heat rose to my face. She continued. If you stop paying, there's nothing they can do. But given the sums involved, by my rough calculation over $70,000, you may have grounds to claim a financial interest. That's not small. And their written acknowledgement, she tapped the printout again, is damning. I sat back, the vinyl chair cold through my coat. For once I wasn't crazy. The patterns weren't figments. The numbers were real. She slid the papers back toward me. You'll need to decide quickly. December 28th is the next automatic transfer date. Correct? Yes. 6/25. Then you have 8 days to act. Her voice softened just slightly. You don't need to keep funding your own erasure. Outside, the air was biting, the sky flat gray. I clutched the folder to my chest, the corners pressing into my ribs like a reminder. I had a deadline. And maybe for the first time, leverage. December 22nd, 9:14 a.m. I sat at my kitchen table with the folder open, coffee cooling in a chipped mug, and my laptop screen glowing pale in the winter light. Step 1. Log into the mortgage portal. My account still linked, my contributions still listed in neat monthly lines. I hovered over Manage Payments. Pulse quick. Then click. Cancel automatic transfer. A red warning box appeared. Are you sure? Yes, I was sure. Confirm. Step 2. I dialed the mortgage servicer. After 15 minutes on hold, static and tinny holiday music looping endlessly, a rep came on. Ms. Ivanova, you've been a secondary contributor, correct? Correct. I'm notifying you I will no longer make payments. Please direct all future communication to the primary borrower. A pause. This may trigger default unless he refinances. I understand. Document that I'm formally withdrawing. Her keystrokes clacked. Done. Step 3. I drafted an email to my lawyer, attaching scans of the screenshot and my transfer history. Subject line. Formal notice ceasing contributions. One line in the body. Per our discussion, please proceed with correspondence to the borrower's counsel. Attach. Send. I sat back exhaling. By noon my lawyer replied. Short, efficient. Letter drafted and sent to their attorney of record. They will be informed that your support has ended effective immediately. Expect reaction. Reaction came faster than expected. 4:37 p.m. My phone lit up. Dad. I didn't answer. 2 minutes later, Mom. Then brother. I silenced the screen, the faint vibration rattling against the tabletop like an insect trapped in a jar. At 6:12 p.m. a voicemail arrived. A man's voice, smooth, clipped. This is counsel representing your parents. I'd like to clarify the sudden withdrawal of funds. Please return my call. I didn't. I closed the folder, pushed it aside, and for the first time in years, felt a shock pass the other direction. Not me scrambling to save them, but them scrambling to reach me. Quiet power. Felt almost unreal. The fallout arrived like weather. First drizzle, then storm. December 23rd. 8:02 a.m. My phone buzzed with a text from my brother. What the hell did you do? The bank called Dad. They're saying payments might bounce. Fix this. I set the phone face down beside my toast, butter cooling in pale ridges. I didn't reply. By midday, 3 more messages came. Guilt, anger, bargaining. Mom hasn't stopped crying. You're punishing us for nothing. Just pay this month, we'll talk after New Year. I went for a walk instead. The air was sharp with wood smoke from chimneys. Somewhere, faint carols leaked from a shop radio. My boots crunched over salt scattered on the sidewalks. I kept walking. December 24th, I woke to a block number voicemail. My father's voice, strained, unfamiliar. You've humiliated us. Do you think family takes each other to court? You'll regret this. The threat was there, but so was something else, fear. For the first time, his power wasn't absolute. That evening, I visited my aunt, the one relative who had never asked me for money. Her small apartment smelled of nutmeg and coffee. Tinsel looped unevenly across the bookshelf. They said you've gone cruel, she admitted, pouring tea. But then I saw your receipts. She glanced at the printed bank statements I'd handed her, her eyes widening at the totals. All these years. Yes. She set the paper down, fingers trembling slightly. Then you're not cruel. You're finally sane. The words wrapped around me warmer than the tea. I didn't stay long, just enough to share a slice of poppy seed cake, to hear carols drifting from the neighbor's TV. But when I left, I felt less like a traitor and more like someone who had simply stepped out of a rigged game. December 25th dawned quiet. No invitations, no stocking with my name. But also, no transfers draining my account. No expectation of sacrifice. A small win. Not the end, but the beginning of something different. December 27th. My inbox pinged. An email from my lawyer. Subject: Additional exhibit. Inside was a forwarded document their attorney had sent in bluster. A PDF attachment mistakenly including a scanned note from my mother to my brother. The handwriting was hers, blue ink, scrawled diagonally across lined paper. Once Elena is cut out, the house is yours. She'll keep sending money. She always does. The lawyer's note underneath was curt. Accidentally disclosed. This strengthens your case considerably. I leaned back, the glow of the laptop harsh in the dim kitchen. There it was again, proof they'd spoken of me not as family, but as a funding source. There slipped my clarity. By evening, the countermove arrived. My father called, voice sharp. You think a piece of paper makes you right? You've always twisted things. Drop this nonsense before we're ruined. I let the words hang, then answered flatly. I won't fund lies anymore. He spluttered, searching for his old authority. We're your parents. I said nothing. The silence stretched until he hung up. I closed the call log and felt the click inside me. No way back. It wasn't just about money now. It was about truth. About finally refusing to let them define me as invisible, dispensable, useful only when my account balanced theirs. The gap was closed. Their own handwriting sealed it. And for the first time in 37 years, I understood that distance could be mercy. New Year's Eve, 11:42 p.m. My apartment was quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the occasional pop of fireworks echoing from the riverfront. A candle flickered on the table, cinnamon-scented, casting soft light over a glass of sparkling water, and a plate of sliced apples. No crowded living room. No tense silence waiting for my father's approval. No pretending my mother's small digs didn't sting. Just me. I'd spent the day drafting a simple letter, short, unflinching. I told my parents I would no longer send money, no longer engage in negotiations through guilt, no longer accept invitations that required me to shrink. The envelope sat sealed on my desk, not for them but for me. A reminder of the line I'd drawn. At midnight, when the city roared in color and sound outside my window, I lifted my glass alone. Not lonely, just whole. In the weeks that followed, I set new rules. My lawyer managed any stray contact from theirs. I blocked my brother's late-night guilt texts. I redirected my auto payments toward a savings account in my own name. Already $1,250 sitting untouched by the end of January. I began walking every morning 3 miles around the park, the air sharp with frost, the ground crunching underfoot. Each step felt less like escape and more like arrival. 3 months out, I've made plans. Enroll in a ceramics class on Saturdays, finally replace the couch that sagged like old loyalties, maybe travel somewhere that isn't tied to obligation. Lisbon, Kyoto, I haven't decided yet. I don't dramatize it, don't declare victories. I just live quietly on my own terms. And when my phone stays silent on holidays, I don't chase the noise anymore. I sit in my kitchen, light a candle, breathe in the cinnamon, and remind myself, this is enough. I am enough.